On today's show, after a huge win over the New Jersey Devils on Saturday, we'll look at where the Ottawa Senators sit in their playoff push.
And we catch up with friend of the show, Angus Crookshank, after he just broke the franchise record in goals for the Belleville Senators.
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens on the outskirts of the desert. I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. Today is Monday, March 24th, and Pilsy, the Ottawa Senators held on for dear life, but a win is a win, and 2 points is critical in the standings heading into this week.
Yeah, they kept the Devils away from them just long enough, Ross, and they needed that one big time, and it keeps their playoff odds in a good spot. I'm addicted to looking at moneypuck.com playoff odds, Ross. What a refreshing change of pace. I used to have Tankathon as a bookmark. Nope, that bookmark is deleted. It's gone. I don't look at it anymore, and now I have Money Puck playoff odds as my bookmark, and the Ottawa Senators are at 94.7% chance to make the playoffs. Woo!
And that's picture perfect for now. And it was picture day for the Ottawa Senators today before practice. They all got their smiles on, and there's lots to smile about sitting in the first wild card spot. We'll get into the details of who's behind them, what your rooting guide is this week, and why this week in particular is, I'm going to say this a lot, the biggest week of the season for the Ottawa Senators. But with the photo day comes practice, and Pilsy, we got a call up. Stephen Halliday was on the first line left wing at practice this morning as a placeholder for Brady Tkachuk, who missed the skate. Is that any sort of surprise for you?
Well, it certainly was a bit of surprise, Ross. We didn't see this coming, although I will push back on you saying this is the biggest week of the season. I got a different week highlighted, but we can get into that later. I think it's great that Stephen Halliday is getting the opportunity. Kind of ironic. We were just chatting with Crooker, and we got his thoughts on Halliday, so stay tuned for that later on in the interview, in the episode. But I think this is the perfect guy to give a chance to now. Whether he'll actually end up playing or not, I'm not sure, rather. We saw earlier in the season, Halliday was not called up, but he was unofficially brought up to the Ottawa Senators, practice with them, and then he was right back down in Belleville playing later. So this time he is officially called up per Sens communication on Twitter, and he's practicing at the line rushes. We'll see if he ends up playing or not. I'd love to see him get a chance, though.
So would I. I mean, he's had a few practices now, or a couple practices now, and it just feels like a perfect time for a little change, I think, on the fourth line. But again, that's not where he was practicing this morning. It was at left wing with Tim Stützle at center and Fabian Zetterlund at right wing. So it looks like the Senators will keep the lineup change they made heading into the weekend, which means that Claude Giroux will be on the quote-unquote third line with Shane Pinto and Ridley Gregg. One other note, Artem Zub was not on the ice for practice. Maybe an extra day off to get his, I would say, obliques recovered after swinging his stick so hard to get that puck out of harm's way with 3 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that deserves you some time off regardless, Ross. They're just like, Zub, you hero, rest up, King.
Nick Jensen, full participant in practice. He missed last couple of games. So that you love to see that, because I looked at Money Puck too, and the expected goals percentage for D pairs for the Ottawa Senators, the worst so far this season for players with a minimum of 150 minutes together, is the pair of Thomas Chabot and Travis Hamonic. And the second worst pair is Jake Sanderson with Travis Hamonic. So I think it's pretty clear that Travis Hamonic in a top four role isn't going to cut it in this point of the season. This point in the season also sees the Dads trip start. The Dads are going to head to Buffalo with the Senators later today for a big matchup. And this one's going to be a grudge match, not for the reasons of any of the past ones where it's like, okay, standings points, but it's going to be a Dylan Cozens revenge game. We don't know if Josh Norris is going to be in the lineup. He's missed the last few games with injury. This has to be one that's circled immediately on the calendar when Cozens got traded to Ottawa.
Well, Ross, especially because it's in Buffalo, and I know you love rolling around in the mud on Twitter, but Buffalo fans feel a certain way about Dylan Cozens, and I'm sure, guys try to avoid being on Twitter, but you hear things that are said and people tell them things that are said, and I'm sure he's at least somewhat aware of how Sabres fans feel about his departure, and he'll want to let them know that he's found greener pastures and he's ready to score some goals in the Buffalo Sabres net for the first time in his career. So I'm looking forward to this one as well.
7 points in 8 games for Dylan Cozens since joining the Ottawa Senators. And in those 8 games, Drake Batherson, his right winger, also has 7 points in those 8 games. It got Ottawa a critical win. The Sens are now 8-2-1 in March. So that's, a great spot to be if you're looking at a team that needed points. They're not quite at the St. Louis Blues level, Billsy, where they're just skyrocketing up the Western Conference wildcard race. But for the Ottawa Senators, they've just been awesome since March 1st, since we were boots on the ground for that game in Ottawa against the San Jose Sharks. They got a +6 goal differential in March. They've got a 9 for 34% power, or 9 for 34 power play, and they're finding ways. Now, their opponents have also scored 9 power play goals. I think the penalty kill is something that needs to be addressed here and figured out, because they had that great stretch where they killed off 12 in a row, but over the course of the last few games, it has not gone their way. They've allowed 4 power play goals against in the last 3 games. Is there something strategically? Is it still the diamond formation, or is there something else that you want to see to help out on the PK?
Yeah, I don't know, Ross. Obviously, we've kind of been looking at the diamond formation, and it has varied success because, like you talked about, they had a stretch where they were dominating in the PK. Although the Ottawa Senators are getting offensive chances, Ross, I'd like some of those you got to bury. They got so close. There was a Claude Giroux breakaway. There was that 2-on-1 with Ridley Gregg sliding it over to Shane Pinto. And I'm not getting on them for not being able to score shorthanded goals, but they've been grade A chances. It'd be nice to, at least for momentum's sake, bury a little bit more of those more often. And it's not like these are this isn't the days of Connor Brown on a breakaway, although he put up a bunch of goals for the Sens, or Eric Condra, or guys that you don't expect to score. It's been Claude Giroux and Shane Pinto getting these opportunities. So for momentum's sake, I'd like to see them bury a couple of those grade A chances.
Yeah, I'm right with you. Now, they still were able to manage a win, which means the Senators now, with 69 games played on the season, they've got 13 games left. They sit first in the wild card race with 79 points. There's a 4-point gap between them and the Montreal Canadiens, who sit second in the wild card hunt. And then they've got a 5-point lead over the New York Rangers. Now, despite that 5-point lead, Ottawa also has 2 games in hand on them. So let me ask you this, because the team after the Rangers is the New York Islanders with 73 points, and they've played the same amount of games as Ottawa. Who are you more nervous for that can make a push for a playoff spot on the outside looking in? Is it the Rangers or is it the Islanders?
It's the Rangers for sure. Now, I know, obviously, statistically, the Islanders have 2 games in hand on the Rangers, as do the Red Wings, Blue Jackets, Montreal Canadiens, and Ottawa Senators. But I just think the Rangers are a more dangerous team. And I'm sorry if there's Islanders fans listening to this, but you are not going to lose or point your way into the postseason, in my opinion. They sent so many pieces away at the deadline. I just think they're not going to be able to make a big enough push to outlast all these other teams. So for me, it's the New York Rangers. If Shesterkin is able to, I'm not sure if he's been that consistent recently, but if he's able to fully find his game, he can take this team wherever they need to go, in my opinion. So the Rangers is the team that scares me the most, Ross.
Still can't believe they were able to get that win over the Vancouver Canucks, where they got outshot heavily and Shesterkin shut
that one kills you.
The door. Yeah, I didn't like that one at all. The Islanders got 1 point on Saturday. They fell in overtime to the Calgary Flames. So before we look at the Senators' schedule this week, there's just 4 games in the National Hockey League tonight, and one in particular that Sens fans are going to be watching. Those New York Islanders at home to the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets with only 10 wins, or 2 wins in their last 10 games, I should say. We're cheering for the Islanders or the Blue Jackets, because I say that I know the Islanders are 2 points ahead, but Ottawa's got 3 games against the Blue Jackets. So this one, I mean, obviously we want it done in regulation, but are you just cheering?
Islanders.
You're just cheering for the lower team at this point in the season?
Yep, I'm cheering for the Blue Jackets in this one, Ross. Although the Blue Jackets put out some major news today. Sean Monahan is back along with Eric Goodbranson. So they're getting a little healthier here. And Sean Monahan, in my opinion, Blue Jackets fans can tell me if it's different, but he is a big leader on that team emotionally and as far as points go. So that's a huge boost for that team.
Meanwhile, for the Ottawa Senators, hopefully the fathers are a huge boost as they'll be on the trip here for Buffalo and Detroit. Senators week ahead. Buffalo on Tuesday, Detroit on Thursday, so back-to-back Atlantic Division teams. Then they're coming home to play those Blue Jackets on Saturday before the start of a back-to-back on the road in Pittsburgh on Sunday. How would you define a successful week for the Ottawa Senators?
I'm not going to call tomorrow's game a must-win, Ross, but I mean, my God, the team last place in the Atlantic Division, last place in the Eastern Conference, you haven't beat them yet this season. Just go in there, Dylan Cozens, have yourself a night and get the win. That's a take care of business game, in my opinion. So you got to get 2 points there. And then I'm looking for, you got to win one of those games up against the Red Wings or Blue Jackets. I mean, Sens fans are probably sitting there being like, Pillsy, you got to say you got to win all those games. Well, obviously, but I think if you went 2-0-1, that would be fine for me. But obviously, you'd like to get all 3. But wait, Ross, can we pull back up the Sens schedule? Because you mentioned that you think that this week is the biggest week in the season, but I disagree.
You want me to go to next week?
Nope. I want you to go to next month.
Can do that, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got this.
April.
Okay.
What douche?
Boom. That week, April 6th to 12th, is easily the biggest week, in my opinion. For people listening, not watching on YouTube, you've got a home game on Sunday, the 6th, up against the Blue Jackets. Then you go to Columbus on the Tuesday, April 8th. And then arguably the biggest game left of the season, in my opinion, is April 11th at home at the CTC up against the Montreal Canadiens. Ross, I've mentioned before, I'm not going to get too high, too low in March. There's so much shifting that can happen. So this week, although it is big, I'm not getting too crazy over it. But the second last week of the season, where you're playing 3 games and only 2 opponents, and both of those teams are in the wildcard race, for me, that's where the Senators are going to decide, are we taking control of our own destiny or not?
I'm going to go full delusional positivity mode. That game against the Habs is game 79 of the season. I want a playoff spot clinched before then, and I want the players who we know are hurt. I'm looking at Brady Tkachuk. I'm looking at Nick Jensen and Artem Zub if he is missing more than just this practice. I want those guys sitting for not all of the last games. If the Sens clinch a playoff spot, they should do that.
You're saying the final game up against the Habs of the season, you want the Sens sitting guys?
If they've clinched a playoff spot, absolutely.
Whew. I mean, for me, I want that win badly, but I don't know. I was not expecting you to come on here and say, let's sit our best players up against the Habs, a game I just announced is the most important game of the season.
Well, we know that that's always a physical game. Like, I don't care whether they're in the wild card 1 or wild card 2 position. I know this might backfire, but Washington
Habs fans would have a field day on you, Ross, saying, "Oh, Brady Tkachuk has the Arbor Jack eye flu again."
No, he's got the playoff flu.
Yeah,
that would be the easiest answer of all time.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I mean, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but if these guys can, because the playoffs are going to start like 2-3 days after the season, they're not going to get a week to recover and be ready to go. Once that X is next to their name, knock on wood, if the X is next to their name on the standings. At that point, you have to play smart, not hard, if that makes sense.
Okay.
All right. Let us know in the comments. Does that make any sense, or am I way off base? On the other side, a great interview with Angus Crookshank, one of the great friends of the show, a 7-time recurring guest, and now the Belleville Sens all-time franchise record holder for goals. That's next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Wonderful Pistachios. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios are one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. I'm a big pistachio fan. People in the chat in the postcast are calling me Pistachio Pillsy, and I wear that nickname with pride. I was eating Wonderful Pistachios last night. Not going to lie. They were my go-to snack watching TV, and I'm really getting into this flavor, Ross. It's a new one I hadn't tried before, but the sweet chili heat flavor. It's got a little bit of spice to it, and you got to work to crack open those shells. But if you don't want the work of cracking the shells, check out the no shells variety. It's a perfect grab-and-go snack for busy days. So get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
Today's episode is also brought to you by our very good friends at the Glebe Central Pub, the GCP, where the vibes are free at 779 Bank Street. It's your neighborhood pub that has great food, awesome drinks, an atmosphere to match, and the service is unparalleled in Ottawa. These are the best people. Love hanging out there. Live music every Saturday night. They've got the Sens shuttle for just $17 round trip. You can get to the GCP and the CTC. The bus goes just an hour and 15 minutes before puck drop, and it gets you right back to the pub afterwards. We're pulling up on YouTube the schedule for the Sens shuttle in April. Let's sell these puppies out. First, still March 29th against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then in April against Tampa, Florida, Montreal, Chicago, and Carolina. That's right. They've got shuttles for just about every game all season long, and the vibes are terrific. If you're traveling to a game alone or if you're going with friends, be among all Sens fans on the GCP shuttle. $17 round trip. You get your tickets, GlebeCentralPub.com, and just click that little check that Locked On Senators sent you. The vibes are free at the GCP. Check them out at 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. At home and away game days, you'll get 10% off your order at the Glebe Central Pub. All right, we now welcome a very, very, very special guest and good friend of the show now, all-time Belleville Senators franchise goal leader, Angus Crookshank. Welcome back to the show. How you doing, man?
I'm good, boys. Appreciate you having me on as always. Good to catch up with you guys.
And after a 3-3, what's the body feel like after one of those where you're playing game after game after game on a weekend?
Myself and along with probably everybody else on the team, your body kind of feels like it's like not around. It's just like there. It's floating. You're not even in one piece kind of thing. But it's part of it. It's the grind of the American League. It makes you want to play in the National Hockey League that much more.
Well, and it's especially a grind when your face takes a beating. What happened to you there, Crooker?
Got a high stick, couple glove punches to the face when I'm around the net. But I mean, it's a heated rivalry with Cleveland. We know each other, us and them. We know each other pretty well from last year and just kind of games in general. So it was a passionate match, and we'll hope to take it back to them on Wednesday night.
It wasn't your boy Jake Christensen, though, was it?
No, it wasn't Jake. No, he's actually been up in the NHL all year, which is awesome for him.
No way. Shows what I know about Columbus.
He's been up all year, which is awesome for him. But he's been doing well. But wouldn't say I'm very good friends with anyone else on that team.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. We saw that playoff series last year, the way it went, and man, we're so proud of you seeing you break that record. The celly was awesome. Made us rewind. We saw the B-Sens put together that video. Came a long way from scoring your first NHL goal in a practice rink in Winnipeg, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they cut out the celly on that, because if I'm not I know I'm not mistaken, but I fell when I celebrated. So I'm glad they cut off that part. But yeah, no, it was pretty cool. I to be honest, I didn't realize that I knew I was kind of close to it. I didn't realize that was the goal. It was kind of cool. It was a great time. And my mom's in town right now, actually. So for her to kind of be here and to see that was pretty special.
Now, not only did you take the record, but you took it from a good friend of ours and a longtime Belleville Senator, Igor Sokolov. Did you have a quick phone call with Igor? Let him know you're the number one guy in Belleville now, or did you have any exchange of words with our guy Igor?
Oh yeah, the Shark and I were texting. We're texting after it. It's funny. I read everything whenever I text Igor. I read everything through his voice, which makes it just 10 times funnier. But he sent me new king with the king emoji. I thought it was hilarious. But he and I were chatting and just catching up and that sort of stuff. But I mean, he was a fantastic player when he played here. I mean, he's part of the reason why I was able to reach that record. So kudos to him.
He didn't send you the points leaderboard where you're number 2 right behind him so far?
No, he didn't. I think he let me enjoy the moment.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of enjoying the moment, we got this great photo right afterwards. We're pulling it up, like just a pure hockey guy, toothed out, franchise leader. The real question, though, what happened to the rest of your collar, Crooker?
You know what? It was I run out of I don't know how, but in my laundry bag, I ran out of shirts, and that was like an extra one that I found in kind of the lost and found bin. So I was like, all right, whatever. I just grabbed it, fit well. It was I don't know. I thought it looked kind of nail, so I was like, okay, screw it. I'm just gonna keep it.
Ross, no collar is the blue collar.
Yeah,
look,
that's
buddy.
Yeah. If that collar was blue, Crooker would have kept it, eh?
100%. It'd be hanging in my bedroom right now.
Well, you know what? You kind of look like an NFL running back in this one. And I want to bring up something that happened over the summer. It was right after we had you on last. Connor Bedard was on a live stream with a couple of his buddies, and he was asked which NHLers would make the best football lineup. And he had like Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon were his wide receivers. Leon Draisaitl was his quarterback. Malkin and Matthew Tkachuk were his tight ends, but he was extremely adamant that you were going to be the running back on this team. 1, do you agree with him? And B, what kind of running back would Angus Crookshank be in the NFL?
Yeah. You know what? Bedsy's like a huge sports guy, so he loves getting into debates about it. Like we'll talk about like basketball, and he's huge into basketball, which I find kind of hilarious, but he loves to debate about that stuff. But man, kind of running back I'd be. I mean, I'd probably the same way I play the game, just kind of just go to the hard areas. I'd be hard-nosed running back, scraping out 4 yards of carry, goal line specialist maybe.
Little Danny Woodhead in him, eh, Pilsy?
Oh yeah, big time. And I mean, hey, if you're able to say, look, I was put on a list with players like Leon Draisaitl, Evgeny Malkin, Matthew Tkachuk, Connor McDavid, and Nathan McKinnon, and Elias Pettersson. Everyone's like, damn, that's impressive. You don't have to tell them it was a mock football lineup, but just being on that list is pretty sweet.
No, I'm sure maybe when I'm older, I'll edit that photo you got pulled up and say like greatest players of all time.
Put a Lombardi trophy in your hand there instead of the puck. Who would be seriously your kicker? Who would be the kicker if the Belleville Senators were making an NFL roster?
The kicker. Probably Philip Roos. He's the best sewer player.
Okay. That's a good reasoning.
He's the best sewer player, and he's got a good boot.
And who's the quarterback?
QB. It'd probably be Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How often?
Yeah, for sure.
He's a disher.
True.
He wouldn't. But the thing is, though, he wouldn't like sling it in there like Brett Favre. It'd be like these huge like arcing passes over like 3 defenders' heads, like right into the breadbasket type thing.
How often does he tell you that he went to Ohio State?
We had to talk to him at the start of the year. Like this guy was coming to the rink every single day in an Ohio State hoodie, Ohio State sweatpants, Ohio State Nike Air Maxes. like we we on the road, we'll either go like pro casual, which like just business casual, or if we're leaving a spot right after the game, like we can wear our team tracksuits, like our Belleville Senators tracksuits to the game, and then we don't have to change and just hop on the bus and go. And Stevie, no matter what, still wears the Ohio State shoes with the Belleville Senators tracksuit. We're like, dude, I'm a college guy too. Love my time in college. But let's turn the page here.
What, you're not rocking University of New Hampshire gear all the time too, Crooker?
I'm actually wearing some UNH hockey shorts right now, but I'm in my own house.
There we go. Okay, that's fair. Especially when you guys go to play the Cleveland Monsters. You can't have Halliday or rocking the Ohio gear.
No, we can't. Like we're playing these guys, and we got Nike Air Maxes with 19 on the heel, and the Ohio State Buckeyes logo on the other heel.
Man, we brought up with Timmy the chance of you two playing together, and he was serious about going. Like he said, he fought with his parents over and over again about getting that chance to play with you at New Hampshire. I said they were already etching in his name in the Hobie Baker. Like so close, man, so close. That would have been electric. But it was exactly 4 years ago last week you signed your first NHL ticket, eh, Crooker? Like how's the ride been so far in this journey of pro hockey?
You know what? It's been a dream, but it's been a roller coaster. I mean, you guys have I've been fortunate where I've developed a relationship with you guys. You guys have been able to kind of follow my journey through pro hockey. It started off really, really brutal. Honestly, probably couldn't have started any worse with my knee injury. And then to kind of persevere through that. I mean, I've learned a lot about myself over the last kind of 3 years or so. And I mean, I think it's made me not only a better player, but importantly, like a more kind of well-rounded human being that's able to deal with situations and adversity and stressful spots a lot better.
Hope you're enjoying our chat with Angus. We'll get right back to it. But first, Pilsy's got a word from our friends at Monarch Money.
Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Well, between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Look, Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, though. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending all in one easy place. So stop just managing your money and start building your wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track your spending, and even plan long-term goals. And managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all that stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. Yeah, you've definitely seen a lot of different kind of aspects of pro hockey, and you're approaching your 200th game in the AHL. You're at 198 right now. So I'm curious, Crooker, on the team, what kind of role do you play to, like, because I feel like you're kind of in the middle now. You're not the young prospect that's just kind of entering the pros, but there's also vets on the team that have been around longer than you. So are you kind of helping out the younger guys that are coming into pro hockey while also kind of learning from some of the vets?
Yeah, I think you nailed it right on the head. For me, I'm kind of in that. Yeah, I'm in that in between, so to speak. So yeah, I mean, I'll chip in with the vets when I can, but I mean, those guys have played 300, 400, 500 games, so they know more than I do, kind of thing. So I can only, my knowledge is limited when it comes to that stuff. But I mean, I like chatting with the younger guys, trying to make sure, like, staying positive, like keeping spirits up. If you have a tough shift, okay, whatever, it's over with, on to the next one, kind of thing. And that was a big lesson I've learned, because I used to dwell on things really, really hard. Like, a shift went badly, it was damn, like, I screwed up, like, this is going to ruin now my next 3-4 shifts. No, screw it. Let's move on to the next thing. next shift. You're going to get another chance. Now you just got to do something with it.
No,
So I think mainly kind of helping out with the younger guys and just trying to keep them kind of as even keel as possible. Because I mean, it's hard. Everyone's been there. That rookie year, there's a ton of learning involved, and there's a lot of stuff you kind of have to learn on the fly. And I mean, kudos to the rookies we have. I mean, they've done a really good job this year.
So with that, I mean, your team's fighting for a playoff spot right now. You had so many call-ups and guys gone for different periods of time throughout, I'd say, December and into the new year. But feels like you guys are kind of catching a groove right now. What's the mood around the team as you guys approach the stretch run here?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's typical North Division, right? I mean, it's everybody's above 500 and everybody's 2 points away from each other kind of thing. Like you can hop two teams in one game kind of thing. So it's competitive. It makes for good hockey from a fan standpoint, but I mean, it's exciting, man. You want to play in these meaningful games. You don't want to be going home in the middle of April kind of thing. I mean, we talk about, I mean, for guys that are on kind of 1-year deals and moving on and wherever guys go, if you play in the playoffs, you're going to get paid more. It's just part of it. I mean, and that's part of, it's not everything in our business, but we have a short, finite period of time where, okay, you can make some pretty good money. So teams want players with playoff experience, success in the playoffs and championships. So and I've started to kind of learn that more as I've gotten older. Like teams look for winners, and I want to be a winner. Everybody else in that locker room wants to be a winner. I know the coaching staff and everybody involved with the team wants to be a winner. So going through that and just kind of being excited while maintaining a certain amount of even keelness, if that's even a word.
Now, you mentioned how tight the race is in the North Division. I love asking players this because sometimes their answers are different than we expect. Who would you say your biggest rivalry is with any team? It doesn't even have to be the North Division, just any team in the AHL. Like, what's that one team when they come to town or you're going to their barn and you're like, oh, man, we got to stick it to these guys?
It's the Marlies, without a question. Yeah, that's it. Like, there's been so many good games, intense rivalry. Obviously, the history of last year as well, and quite frankly, the teams just don't like each other very much, just with how much we play each other. So it's like I said, it makes for good hockey, and it makes for eventful hockey for the referees. Let's just say.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you guys play each other 10 times a year? Did I see it was battle 9 out of 10 over the weekend?
I think it was 9. Do we have them one more? We might have them one more time. We played them twice.
That's
I don't know if that was 9 and 10 or if we're at 9.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, you got them on the 29th, and that's it.
Okay.
Hey, the refs would have known that right away, faster than Pillsy got
it. Probably.
So tell me about. I'm curious more about getting to the point you're at now in your career, because last year, the 13 games, 2 separate call-ups, and talked about a roller coaster. I mean, you get up to the NHL, you have your first game, then like 50 kilometers from where I am right now, you score your first NHL goal. By the way, the first goal in the last game that the Senators ever played at Mullet Arena. Your coach gets fired the day before that. Like, talk about a first NHL call-up, man. Now looking back at that, like, there's a roller coaster, but was this one even more than you could have ever imagined as your first taste of NHL hockey?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, obviously I got into Vegas for the first game early in the morning, played that game purely on adrenaline. And then the next day I come to the rink and Steve's talking to the team about the coaching change. And I'm like, holy, like, I don't even have my feet under me here, like, let alone one foot on the ground. Like, this is just kind of a big whirlwind right now. But I know, I think I said it in the media after the game in Arizona. I can't worry about what is going on around me. I got too many thoughts going through my head right now. So all I can do is just worry about what I'm doing and just kind of just taking it seriously as a day at a time. As stupid and as cliche as that phrase is, there is so much truth to it.
And that's the biggest thing you're saying that you've learned, is to kind of balance the highs and lows of pro hockey, kind of just taking each day as it comes.
100%. Like you learn so much. There's crazy things that happen in pro hockey that don't happen in junior, don't happen in college. So like you could have like a tough game or a tough stretch, and the next thing you know, you're called up to the NHL type thing, or you think you're playing really good hockey, you think that call up's going to come, and then it doesn't come, kind of thing. So you just kind of have to be on your toes and just kind of, as the saying goes, just kind of be water off a duck's back and just kind of fall right off, and it's on to the next kind of thing.
That's wild, man. I can't even imagine kind of the grind that puts on you, let alone the 3-3 and what the schedule brings for you as well. I have a totally random question for you, but just as a Canadian guy who ended up playing college, would the new rules have changed your mindset and how your development path went and how you could play WHL, then go to college, vice versa? Or did you always know that you wanted to go to school from a young age and wanted to get that education along with playing hockey?
I don't know. First, I think it's great that the WHL and the NCAA are merging together. I think it's just going to make for even better players and more prepared players for pro hockey. But honestly, realistically, I probably would have gone to the WHL than college. But I mean, I was pretty set on college when I wasn't picked in the WHL Bantam draft. That kind of just put a sour taste in my mouth, and I was like, okay, screw you guys. I got nothing for you. Don't come knocking type thing. But my dad played college, and he just kind of spoke to how amazing that experience was. So to kind of follow his steps and go that route was pretty cool, and he definitely wasn't wrong. It was the right route for me.
Where did he play?
Minnesota Duluth.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Was that a team that you were interested in going to, or what got you to New Hampshire? I don't know if I've ever asked that.
Well, first off, he told me don't go to a Minnesota school because they're notorious for choosing Minnesota kids over other kids when it comes to lineup choices and stuff like that, which I was like, fair enough. But honestly, UNH was kind of the first school that talked to me, and I went on a visit there, and I mean, it just kind of seemed like a good fit. I mean, I didn't want to be another kind of one guy out of like a class of 10 first rounders to like Boston College or Denver or North Dakota or anything like that. I wanted to have the opportunity to go in and play immediately as a freshman. And that's what UNH gave to me. It gave me the opportunity to play good minutes early in my college career and kind of allow myself to learn the college game and go from there.
Yeah, I think it worked out pretty well for you. I think that was a good decision. Final question for me here, Crooker, and this has been awesome getting to catch up with you. I just wanted to get your opinion on a player that the Ottawa Senators fan base, we have mixed opinions about, mostly because we haven't got to see him play a lot, and that's Tyler Boucher. He's been on your line recently. He had a nice goal the other day. What can you tell us about Boucher, not just the player, but the person? Because we've had him on the show a bunch and we love him. He's a good kid, and he's finally getting an opportunity to get some consistency in playing in games. So how's he look to you?
That's the biggest thing, is just he's been able to get in games. I mean, I feel brutal for the kid because it's just his injuries are pure luck. Like it's not like he hasn't trained or he's not prepared or anything like that. He's one of the most strong guys. He's probably one of the strongest guys on our team, and it's just been a kind of couple like bad luck stuff with him. And he's been really, really good for us. He's really starting to kind of learn that pro side of the game and knowing, okay, this works, this doesn't work, which happens with guys. And especially that rookie year, like I said, there's a ton of learning. But he's really, like this past kind of probably 15, 20 games that he's played, he's been really, really good for us. And I mean, he's an amazing kid. I mean, as you guys know, like he's one of the funniest guys I know. Like just, he's great for the room, like keeps everybody light and on their toes, and nobody's safe from Bouch. Like he'll, out of nowhere, he can be across the breakfast table from me, and he'll just like he'll rip you about like what your hair looks like or something like that. So he's awesome when it comes to that, and he's really starting to kind of learn the pro game, which is awesome for him.
Oh, that's great, man. You guys have a lot of likable characters on that team. We're excited to watch you guys down the stretch. I got 2 final questions for you. I'll start with an easy one. Why do you have Buster as the name on your stick?
So that's a nickname I have back home. It's weird. First off, I have 1.5 million different nicknames, but I grew up being called Buster. My parents started calling me Buster at a young age, and it just kind of stuck. Like all my coaches called me Buster. Like my buddies back home, like they don't call me Angus or Crooker or anything like that. It's, hey Buster, what's going on, or something like that. And then so I don't know. I just thought I like that nickname. Thought I'd put it on my sticks.
Love it, Buster Crookshank. It's your 7th appearance on the pod, Buster. You're actually, funny enough, I wanted it to be you passing Igor so that you could have passed him in goals and passed him in appearances. You and Igor are now tied for 5th in most appearances on LOSP. So you're right there with them. But out of those 77 goals, Crooker, what's your favorite AHL goal that you've scored so far?
I got 2.
I'll allow it.
One was an overtime goal in Syracuse.
They kept the Selly in on that one, eh? On the video, they kept the Selly in for that one.
Yeah, goal aside, I remember there was a guy beside the penalty box that was ripping guys like all night and like getting a little cutthroat with his comments. And like the guys were talking about this during the intermission. I saw where the guy was, but I went up to him and just kind of gave him we'll keep PG, but screw you, like through the glass there. But then the other one was probably a one time I scored in the playoffs last year against Cleveland. Like I just absolutely, Clev dished me weak side, and everything was timed up perfectly, went in and out in a flash type thing. It just one of those shots where it felt right.
Hell yeah. Love that. Final question, just because you brought him up. Are you surprised that Tyler Kleven's been able to jump in and be a full-time NHLer after just 1 year in the A?
No, I don't think that surprised anybody, to be honest. I mean, he's so big, he's so strong, he's got the physicality, he's got the shot, he can think the game on a high level. Like I don't think it surprised anyone how well he's been doing. I mean, I had an absolute rip the other night, which is just typical Clev. Just take 2 strides in and just, I don't know how his stick doesn't break sometimes, but he just ripped that puck.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Crooker, hey, we're watching you down the stretch. We're really looking forward to seeing what you guys have in store in Belleville. Go make some noise in the playoffs. And we're, like man, we've been following you since New Hampshire, and we're excited to see where your career goes. I know you're going to play in the show, buddy. I think you're over 100 games easy by the time it's all said and done. So keep grinding away, man. You got a lot of runway ahead of you, and we're excited to watch you develop. So keep rolling, keep grinding. Let's get to 100 AHL goals, and then let's get to 100 NHL games after that, buddy. We'll be here along the way, and thanks for being such a great friend of the show. We really appreciate it.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Thank you as always.
Stick taps to Crooker for joining us. Really fun conversation with him, rooting for that guy to be a full-time National Hockey Leaguer. Pillsy, any final thoughts on today's show?
Yeah, first off, thanks to Crooker. We love having him on the show, friend of the show. My God, Ross, look at us. We did it. And we couldn't have done it without all of you and all your support. I'm talking about us hitting 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. This has been a goal for Ross and I for a long time. Whenever we kind of see an uptick in numbers, we're both kind of like, hey, one step closer to 10K. It was all about getting to that 10K mark, and we grinded. We've put the hours in. We've put the content out for you guys, and you guys have responded positively to it. We can't thank you enough, because seeing the 5 digits on the subscriber count is just so awesome. So I'm just overjoyed. I've been telling everyone I see how happy I am that we got to 10K on YouTube.
and we all got to 10K. We wouldn't be here without the citizens who grind with us each and every day. There's been some pretty dark times since we took over Locked On NHL, or started it, I should say, in November of 2019. And to see the light at the end of the tunnel just means so much to us, that everybody is getting on board with this Senators team, the new ownership, the new management, and the players that clearly care each and every night. And the victories just taste that much sweeter when the flutes play on the postcast. So thank you to Locked On for giving us this opportunity. Thank you to the citizens for being here with us on the ride. Thanks to Pilsy for putting up with my schedule with a 4-month-old baby at home. It's just been all over the place, a success. And I think I speak for both of us. We feel like we're just getting started. The best is yet to come. We're just catching our stride here.
I know, and what a time for this to happen right before playoffs. Like, we are gearing up for something special, and for everyone that's followed, whether you're new, you're just catching on this season, whether you've been following along for a little bit, whether you joined us during the COVID years, which I think a lot of people did, or for our OGs that have been following us since our Sens Central days on SoundCloud, we appreciate everyone, and the support does not go unnoticed. We couldn't have this lifestyle, we couldn't follow this team, we couldn't put the hours in like we do without all your support. So we truly mean that.
And all of our great sponsors too, the Glebe Central Pub, Farm to Fork, and our friends over at Club EG Golf, and all the great partners that we have through the Locked On Podcast Network. So thank you to everybody. Final thoughts from me. Brady Tkachuk maintenance day officially from Travis Green. He is expected to play tomorrow. Apparently, Nick Jensen looked good in practice. He also may be available tomorrow, and just a maintenance day as well for Artem Zub. We'll have a game day preview for you tomorrow. Sens and Sabres, there's going to be a little bit of hate in the air. None towards Josh Norris. We hope that he's healthy and able to play, but it's 2 huge points, again, on the line for the Ottawa Senators. For today, we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.